Hi, my name is Sam, and I have been sober for almost 3 years. Feels very unnatural being in front of the camera, sitting down like this by myself. So don't fault me for being weird or coming off shy. I don't know. It's also a very touchy subject. I mean, you read the title. You're here for a reason. You're here for the story. And yeah, I've been sober for almost 3 years. And feels kind of weird to say that. First off, I just want to start this video by saying that I am not a medical professional. I am not a counselor who deals with addiction. I am not someone who you should come to for your own addictions or or medical advice on addiction or whatever. I am not that person. I am not specialized in that. This is just simply my story. And please know that I am just saying this from my perspective, in my situation. And everybody is completely different. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, we've popped some links down below for you to check out. I support you 100% in getting clean from whatever it is you are struggling with addiction-wise. But as far as medical advice or anything like that, I am not that person. For me, I started drinking young. I grew up in a place where there wasn't a whole lot to do. It was not uncommon for kids to start drinking and experimenting with drugs and alcohol young. I did not experiment with drugs, but I did dabble with alcohol. And it wasn't heavy at first. It wasn't super often at first, but it grew to be a problem. It grew to be something that I kind of depended on. And it was also something that I hid. I hid it from everyone. I hid it really well. I'm sure if you ask many family members or friends back then if they knew that I was struggling with drinking, they probably would look at you like you were crazy. For me, I think a lot of it stemmed from not only boredom, but I think a lot of it stemmed from the fact that I was dealing with OCD, which I'm still dealing with. Maybe that's a topic for another time, but also depression. And I think for me, it was more or less like a crutch to use to kind of make myself feel better. Which again, I feel like anyone who struggles with drinking, that's kind of a similarity we all have. It's something that we use to make ourselves feel better. It's also something to control. And I think that especially for me, like dealing with OCD, which is also something that I had the ability to control certain things. I think for me, a lot of it was needing that control. I started, I don't know, I mean, it got progressively more and more. I was never a great student, so it's not like my grades took this major decline. So it didn't really affect me much there. But I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed being by myself or with my family and whatnot. When I was 16, I started seeing a therapist, or around that time, to help with my OCD and depression, which I ultimately assumed maybe would help with the drinking as well, and it really didn't. And I wasn't necessarily going to therapy for a drinking problem. I was going to assist with getting better with my OCD. No, I thought it was like one and the same, right? You know, you fix one problem, it has the trickle effect to fix more. When I was 18, I actually got sober by myself. I'm someone who has the ability to get sober by sheer will and want. which maybe doesn't make me a full addict in your typical sense, because I don't require assistance from outside help. I'm lucky in that sense. I feel very lucky in that sense. But I got sober at 18. I stayed sober until I was 21. On my 21st birthday, I actually went to dinner with family. I ordered a drink legally, and it sat there. It sat at the table. I didn't even drink it. I moved out to California for school that following summer, but I moved out to California to start fresh. I had big dreams, big wants, and yeah, I was sober in the beginning, and then just started kind of socially drinking, feeling like I could control it, feeling that it wasn't really a problem anymore, you know? It had been a few years since I drank last, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I got this, you know? Like, I'm older, I'm more mature. Yeah, I wasn't. It didn't last long. My occasional drink or social drink turned into drinking most nights. And it got progressively worse through my first year of school, and when I moved to my own place in Los Angeles, it got even more worse. You know, I was 5 minutes away from all the bars I could ever want to go to. And it got to the point where literally Uber would be like, hey, you haven't gone here in a little bit. But yeah, I was drinking more and more. I was still going to class, but showing up late, showing up a mess. Yeah, I mean, it was affecting me, and I didn't think really much of it. I was drinking 7 nights a week. I was barely eating, like thriving off of pizza and bagels and vodka. Everyone around me, you know, was also doing the same. You know, I had friends that all we would do would be to go out. You base friendships off of your ability to handle your alcohol, and of course things are going to go downhill real fast. I started going out so much that not oftentimes, but there were times when I couldn't even find anyone to go out with. Everyone else was tired, and I wasn't. I'd go out by myself, which, you know, I'm 28 now. I look back on that, and I think just how incredibly stupid it was. Putting myself willingly in situations that could have the potential to be incredibly unsafe. And I was getting insanely drunk. And I wouldn't even know it. You know? I would all of a sudden go from 1 drink to 6. And it's wild too, you know, right? Like, when you're young, everyone's like, oh, she can hang, you know? She can hold her liquor, she can, you know, do whatever. But looking back, that's not something to be proud of. And it's definitely something that I was proud of. I was proud of the fact that I could go out and close down a bar and feel fine, you know? Go home, somehow make it home, brush my teeth, change into pajamas, wake up relatively okay the next morning, which is not a good thing. I mean, I think besides absolutely terrifying my parents and those close to me who knew that I had a problem, I think one of the biggest effects that alcohol had on my life was financially. It was causing me to be reckless. I was spending hundreds of dollars a week on drinks and Ubers, and I can't even tell you what that cost. For me, what changed almost 3 years ago was the fact that Alyssa doesn't drink. you know, and drinking was affecting our relationship. I would drink here and there, or I'd stop when we were, you know, working out and getting healthier and, you know, whatnot, and then I'd start up again thinking that it's perfectly fine, I'm just gonna have one or two, and, you know, quickly that leads to drinking a 12-pack a night. What it came down to was an ultimatum. An ultimatum of, it's either me or drinking. And which do you love more? I think back then, I didn't think it was a fair ultimatum. I didn't think it was something that I should have to choose between, because in my eyes, I was handling it. In my eyes, I didn't have a problem. What? No one else drinks that much a night? Well, yeah. Alcoholics do. I chose sobriety. And it's something I choose every day. Alcoholism runs in my family. I know that I'm more susceptible to it, which is why I can drink to excess and not even think anything of it. And now, looking back, almost 3 years later, now as someone who is married with a almost 1-year-old, I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to ever fall back into that state. I don't ever want to make Alyssa question if she made the right decision in me. I don't ever want my parents to ever fear that they're gonna get a phone call one day saying that I crashed my car. I never want to put myself in a situation where I'm hurting others. A lot of you recently have asked for this story on my sobriety. It's not easy to tell. You know, it's also not easy to vocalize. Can I say that I'll never drink again? I don't know. I'd be foolish to sit here and tell you that I would be sober for the rest of my life. And I say that because I know people who have dealt with sobriety, who have years later, you know, had a drink and been fine. But that's not everybody. And I don't know if that will ever be me. I don't know if I could ever just have one drink and be fine. I hope that if you yourself are struggling with an addiction, whether it be to alcohol, to drugs of any sort, to anything, I hope that you seek help. I hope that you reach out to someone for support and getting that help. I'm lucky that I have a great support system, and I hope that you care enough about your life and your future to make the right choice for you. Thank you guys for watching. I know a lot of you have asked for this video recently, and I hope that I gave you everything that you wanted to hear. Yeah, I mean, if you're sober, I'd love to hear it down below. I'd love to fill the comments with positivity towards those trying to get sober. And we will see you guys soon. All right, bye.